Hello everyone, it's Miss Darling in the studio, and we're going to take a look at 5 very neutral masterboards that I made, and then I'll show you how I turned the original masterboard into journal pages and also tons of tags for ephemera to use in some future journal. And I should have done this quite a while ago and I didn't, so there are a few things that are missing that I normally would show you because I dug into it and stole some stuff out of it, but I think there's enough here to really give you a great idea. So I'm going to first show you the original masterboard and then we'll talk about what I did with it. So here is the original, and you can see it's very pastel, and I can't remember if I did a video showing you how I made this, but this is all from scraps that I had, just bits and pieces that got discarded or weren't used in other projects, and I just collect them all, and then I pulled them all out, and this is what I made. So I was very happy with that. So then I made a copy board from it. A copy board is, as you would expect, a copy that I made on my printer of the exact image. And so I'll usually make one copy board that is as close to the original as I can get it. And then I will lighten it and I will make a tinted version, because sometimes if I'm going to turn this into a journal page, maybe it's a little too strong as a background, and so I'll lighten it up so that I can then put ephemera on top. And I think that's what I did here. My printer for some reason seems to add more yellow in there than is ever in the original, so you can see how much more yellow this is back here and over here. You see it's very strong over here and very subdued on the original. And so I'm working to try to figure out how to change the settings on my printer so I can reduce that from happening. But anyway, so here is the version, and then you can see that I glued these 3 butterflies on top and then a large one over here, so that when it's folded for a journal page, this is how it looks. And I will definitely use this somewhere along the line in an upcoming journal. And I already stole a bunch of the tags that I made, but there's 2 here that are left. Anyway, you can see that they make really nice looking tags that you can then embellish any way you want to on top. I do have this, dark area here, these little advertisement things there I glued on top of the tag. And so, but it's not finished. I mean, that could be focal points, but it's not very strong. So I probably would add a little bit more, or just leave it that way so that a future owner of one of my journals can do something else to it as they choose. So anyway, I just love this, how this pastel board came out, and I thought I've got to make a whole bunch more just like it. And of course, nothing that you do is going to be exactly the same, and you are dependent on the scraps you happen to have on hand. And so let's move on to the next one. Okay, here is the original masterboard, and in this one I put a little green in there. Otherwise it's quite neutral in the brown tones. And I don't have the copies that I made from that. Apparently I've used them already, although I do have this. And you can see that, I'll just open this up. And this is not a tinted version, although this does have more yellow in it than the original. Anyway, I embellished it with a bird here and a tag here and a nest there, and then a couple of birds over here. So then when it's used as a journal page, this would be, you know, this would be what the first page looks like, and then this is what the back page looks like. I have yet to do anything with the inside. So I had that, and then here are just some of the tags. I'm sure they're not all here, but you can see it turned into some really fantastic looking tags that could be embellished further or just left as they are. So that is masterboard number 2. Okay, now for number 3. Alright, here is the original masterboard. This is a little stronger, a little darker values going on, but essentially the same palette. I've introduced a little bit of teal and some rust colors into this, and did a bunch of collage on it. And so now here we have the tinted version, and then this was the regular version. So I could maybe cut this up into tags, and then maybe use this as the background for 2 journal pages, and, you know, do something else on top of it. So let's see what I wound up doing. So here I used the stronger version, and I didn't do anything to it, just left it alone. And so I folded it in half. Here's the front page, and then this would be the back page. And I have yet to put something on the inside. And now let's look at tags that I got. And this is not all of them. I know for sure I robbed this group, but you can see how interesting and fun the tags are. And these tags are taken from the stronger masterboard, and nothing has been done with the tint. So, you know, it's there for me to use in the future, however I decide to. And so that is our 3rd version. And number 4. This is the masterboard. We're back to something very pastel, introducing some music, and there's a little bit of gray tone mixed in here with the tan, and real pleased with how that looks. And let me just point out something to you from a design standpoint. When you have an awful lot going on and it's looking quite, you know, really extra busy, what I'll do is maybe put some stripes of some kind in there. They don't have to be real strong, but they could be. If, you know, it just depends on if you want a lot of contrast or not. In this case, I didn't want a lot of contrast, but I did want to kind of direct the eye. And so you see a little stripe coming across here, this one coming down here, and one coming down here. And just by doing a little bit of that, it kind of settles it down. And I think what, you know, basically what it's doing is it's kind of dividing up into sections so that your eye can manage it better. So I'll often do that if I feel that, oh, it's just way too cluttered. I need to kind of settle it down. So here's a tinted version, and that's just a matter of you know, a stroke or two on my keyboard to get the tinted version. And then here is the matching version, and you can see, you know, the stripes, and here you can see this is upside down from the other. So I'll turn that around. Okay, so that was that. And then let's take a look at the journal pages that I made. And I took the stronger of the two versions, and then I glued on these really large, I think they're, you know, they were part of somebody else's masterboard of license plates, and I just love the big letters and the big numbers, and so I threw that together. So now this would be the front page, and here we have the back page. And so you can see when they're folded and you only see half of it and half that clutter has gone away, then you really can see what you actually have and whether it works or not. So was that. And then here, I probably didn't rob this one because there's so many tags. Okay, so we've got 3 large tags out of that, and I've done very little to embellish on these. This is a piece right here of fabric that I printed on and then glued it there. This piece right here is an addition, and over here I just have to feel them sometimes to know whether I've done anything, and I can see that I glued this little piece on here. And so then now these are smaller ones. This is a printed fabric that I put there for the number. Just love large numbers. I prefer numbers over letters because letters we just to identify with our names and stuff, but numbers, you know, we don't do that. So anyway, so you can see I got some very cool looking tags out of this masterboard, and I haven't even done anything at all with the tinted version. So I will probably do something. And this one has another masterboard that's printed on the inside. So it's ready to go in a journal of some kind. And just kind of waiting its turn to be used. That's the nice thing about neutrals, is that they're going to be a whole lot more versatile than other things. So, okay, here's the original masterboard. Just love how this came out. It's just very light and delicate, and again, it's just made from scraps that I happen to have dashed away, and just really was fun to make. And so let me turn these around. Here is the tinted version, and then here is the natural version. And so cutting up either one of these, embellishing on top of this, would be super easy to do and very fun. So let's see if I did something. Okay, I did not use the tinted version for my background. I used this, and maybe I should have used the tinted version because I would have got a lot more contrast out of my focal points if I had done that. But anyway, so here it is. And so then this would be the cover page. Now, this could be a cover page for a signature, or could be used as a standalone in some way. Could be cut up and maybe used on a cover. It has a lot of potential. Nothing's been done to the interior yet, and here's what the back page looks like. And so I just think it's really great to be able to look at the actual page. And so I fold them in half, And that's the best way to know whether your design is working for you as you want it to or not. And so here are tags that I got from this masterboard. I added this large printed piece of fabric there, and I just love how that looks. This one had this piece and this piece are glued on top, so obviously I wasn't very pleased with how it looked without anything. This one just is great by itself. And then we have 3 little ones. That looks great. You know, they're just really cool looking, and they invite you to either leave them alone as they are or to embellish on them further, and so they can be taken in many different directions. And here I added the 3, and this one has had nothing added to it, and you know, has a lot of potential to it. So this was really fun to get all these really cool looking tags out of them. And what you make, it doesn't have to be tags. I seem to gravitate to that more than any other kind of ephemera. But you know, you could make art cards, you can make postcards, you can you know, just do other things, whatever pleases you. It doesn't always have to be tags. And so that's what I got out of that. So I hope you can see how versatile masterboards can be, whether they're pastel or whether they're stronger values. You know, each has its own personality and flavor and can be so useful for many different things to use in your journals. If not right away, then, you know, down the road. And just so I try to pick out papers or fabrics that are fairly common for me to use color-wise, so that I really don't have any trouble working much of anything into a final project. And so the more you make and have on hand, the easier it is to put a journal together, because you know, a lot of the work has been done, and so that's inspirational and encouraging to the creator. You don't have to start from scratch and try to figure everything out at once. You're doing all these other things step by step along the way, and maybe they'll be used in the next journal you make. Maybe it'll be 5 journals down the road before you use something. So I really encourage you, make masterboards. They're so easy, they're so fun, and just, you know, go wild. And it's a great way to use up scraps. You can even, I have found, take bits and pieces that I don't like by themselves, but when they're grouped with other things that I do like, suddenly I like everything, you know, and so nothing goes to waste. And I love that about this, you know, being able to take whatever you have to work with and turn it into something new and different and usable and give it a new life. And so that's one of the challenges and one of the big pleasures, I think, that come from being involved in making junk journals. And mine tend to be artistic, but you know, you do you, and just have fun. And the more you do, the better you get at it, and the more confident you'll be. And again, you know, it's just paper or it's just fabric, and if you don't like something, you just glue over, keep gluing something on top and on top and on top until you wind up liking it. And so nothing is a lost cause, I'll put it that way. So a viewer asked me whether I had a kit available for lined paper to be included in a journal, because I talk so much in my own journals about needing lines in order to write straight without slanting it up to one angle. And so I try to use lined papers now in all my journals, and so she wanted to know if I could make that available in a kit, and I said absolutely. What a good idea. So here's what I've done. I have lined papers in, this is my neutral category. Okay, so we have different backgrounds, different shades of brown to gray, from light to dark. Okay, so that's the neutral group. And then I wanted to offer color, so I have essentially a light version and a dark version for each color. So here is a dark rose, and then a light rose, a dark teal, and a light teal, well, this was supposed to be red. Doesn't look very red, but that's how it came out. And so it's kind of a dark pink and a light pink. This is a purple and a lighter version. Here's a red and kind of a dark pink. We have kind of like a forest green, light green, and kind of an indigo navy blue, and its light counterpart. And here's an orange with a light orange. Okay, so that's the basic grouping of the colored grouping. And then we have kind of just some special interesting colors that I put together, sort of, I don't know, they're not neon, though I think in this lighting this is almost coming across like a neon green is what I'm seeing in the monitor. But it's really kind of, I called it an ecru. And here's another light orange, kind of a golden. Is that it? Seems like there's two stuck together there. Yeah. So here's kind of a cobalt blue, a pinkish blue, kind of a cobalt purple, a lighter version, a little more, you know, darker, it's kind of a rose red. In my monitor it looks more purple. These are going to look different depending on your particular monitor. So here's kind of a dusty rose and a dark orange and kind of another reddish with a medium kind of pinkish. So anyway, these are all the colors that are going to be in a kit that will be available to you for purchase in my Etsy shop, Miss Darling Arts at Etsy.com. And yeah, so it's not very expensive at all, and you get all of these, and you can print them off as many times as you like in whatever color version. So there's a little bit of something there in, I think, most of the major color families, from the neutrals into very popular colors for junk journaling. And I hope you like this, and go take a peek. It's at Etsy.com, and the name of my shop is Miss Darling Arts.